Hmm.
All right, sound check enabled.
Woo.
Check, check.
All right.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Pack Tactics Season 4. This is a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign. My name is Crash. I will be your DM for the evening. Tonight I'm joined by a bunch of awesome people who just leveled up their characters.
Wahahaha.
Level 6. Why are they still here? Joining me tonight are Beth, Ellie, Io, and Jen. And what happened last time?
A dragon. A white dragon. A white dragon we could not diplomacy with, unlike the previous blue dragon, who was actually quite nice once you got to know it. Him, them, whatever. So we did not do diplomacy. The warlock tanked.
Warlock did not enjoy tanking, I believe.
No.
No one enjoyed that the Warlock was tanking.
Wizard healed.
Mm-hmm.
Wizard did not enjoy healing.
And one of the clerics kept saying, down!
Yes. Well, technically you said grovel, but it was effectively sit boy.
Yeah.
Sit! I remember, Inuyasha.
That is exactly what I was referencing, yes.
Yes.
And Maury's line that I threw in was, stop poking holes in my kobolds. Maury was completely out of spell slots at the end of it.
Poor Maury.
Maury was done with a lot of it. And right at the end, you went out to the cave entrance. Deza went out first and saw something that was so unsettling that she decided everyone had to see it.
So we all went looking.
Yes, and you saw a delightful image of what a hollow earth would look like. Even technically not on Earth, but whatever. It is a hollow world. You knew that coming in, but
Yes.
there's knowing and then there's knowing. And seeing there's no horizon line, the ground just curves up until atmospheric perspective makes it not viewable anymore.
Yeah.
Is an experience. And it does that in every direction.
Creepy.
The sun is way smaller than you feel like it should be, but on the other hand, the inside of this world is absorbing all of the energy being given off by the sun, which, if it's like the sun on the outside, it's a portal to the elemental plane of fire, so not technically a sun, but whatever.
Close enough.
But if it was larger, you'd probably have some overheating issues.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it is quite warm out here, in spite of all the snow, which apparently is melting a lot. It's possible that the white dragon was doing some low-scale terraforming, because, well, the thing is, if you're inside a hollow world, going up doesn't necessarily mean, oh, well, thinner atmosphere, everything's going to be colder. It
Or
also
the
means
opposite.
everything that's up higher is closer to that ball of fire in the sky and therefore warmer.
So the dragon was under the impression that it should be on a tall place and then it should make the climate cold.
It may have picked this location for the aesthetic, as opposed to the practicality. It was a young dragon.
I suppose the lack of practicality here would explain why there wasn't an older dragon already in residence. Or at least not one in its prime in residence to make sure that the young dragon did not stay in residence.
I mean, it seems like a good idea. You think there was a volcano in my mountain when I first got there? No. It was a fixer-upper.
Volcanoes in my mountain?
Now I
Well,
have this image of Monty going to some real estate agent, going to different locales, trying to find the best place to have a lair.
Isn't that how dragons do it?
The real estate agent is saying, well, yes, it does have a population of humans, but once you take care of those...
I feel like if you have a population of humans, you might also want to consider doing things like putting up a trail cam and, taking pictures and, making sure that they don't get into trouble, and, you put out some water bowls for them, and no?
Smash cut to a human looking at an incredibly large mousetrap with
Is
3
that
platinum
not why
pieces on it.
Not why dragons' lairs are full of traps. Is this not where dungeons come from?
I got the mousetraps real cheap, and let me just say, Enlarge Reduce is a wonderful spell. Anyway, I think it's safe to say at this point, y'all take a long rest because that fight was brutal.
Someone needs to be keeping an eye out and make sure no other dragons decide to show up. Because if they do, I think we should all pile into the train thing and go the other direction.
Well, you can take turns, so no one has to give up a long rest. But I'm saying this as something that has already happened because
Yes.
I don't let you level up without a long rest.
Yes.
I am not doing the whole video game. You leveled up right at the last round of the encounter. Now you have full hit points and all your spell slots back. I'm not doing that. This is not World of Warcraft.
That saved my bacon once.
It has saved my bacon many times. Yes. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
you have a dream.
Okay.
You have a dream of a city. It looks like a city you've been to, but without the large beam of light going into this. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's the city. But dragons are flying into it by the dozens, hundreds. That you can't count how many dragons are flying into the city and breathing down upon it. There are formations of cobots marching towards the city walls as well. There's smoke rising up, and a large, impossibly large red dragon head rises up from under the city, buildings falling off of its neck and head as it roars, and the scene changes. And you see this again, but not with a city, but with a forest, and it's a green dragon. You see this in a mountain, and it's a white dragon. You see this in the Ashlands, and it's a blue dragon. And you see this in a swamp, and it's a black dragon. And then you wake up.
That was a lot of dragons.
I believe that is our current problem, yes.
No, I mean I had a weird dream that there were giant dragons under all kinds of places and on this world, and they were waking up, and they're and big, like completely under cities and mountains and things. Biggest dragon ever. Are we sure that we made
Well-
the food correctly?
There certainly are a lot of dragons under cities and mountains and things.
Can you
Yeah,
conjure
but-
food and water incorrectly?
I'm a little concerned. Maybe it's just all the dragons. That felt weird, though.
There could have been symbolism involved.
I had a dream
Yeah.
that I was back in the place where I first studied archaeology, and I couldn't find my classroom.
That sounds traumatic, too, but was there a dragon under it?
There are dragons under lots of things, but I'm not sure there was a dragon under that one.
I'm fairly sure that you cannot conjure food and water incorrectly and still end up with anything.
I had a dream that a bunch of strange lizard people came and visited my shop, and everything after that just got worse and worse. And oh,
Yeah. Sorry, Maury. You know, we should probably tell people what's going on. I have decided that I have learned a new spell.
What spell
Us-
is it?
I can send a message with it.
Oh, sending?
Yeah,
I
that
have
one.
that. I have that.
I considered
now?
researching that.
Just
I've had
now.
it for a little while.
What? Sori is
Um,
going to shake Utashi by the shoulders. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.
Her head is like flopping back and forth. You know?
I didn't know you would be reacting like this.
But we should tell the others what we found and why we aren't coming back with helms for them.
Well, I just figured everybody had one of these. No?
Sorry, berries. Her face in her hands.
I thought that it was more useful to learn how to make a tiny hut that is unbreakable.
It's a good one. I like that one. That sounds like an absolutely wonderful one. Right. We're going to send some messages to people. Yes?
Okay.
Okay. And Sori is going to crank out a couple of things, probably drawing them in the dirt to make sure that get the right number of words and all that. And
By the way, for the whole sending back and forth, Sori already had inspiration, so Sori gets nothing. Utashi did not have inspiration,
Mhm.
but Utashi now has inspiration.
Oh, cool. Where does that
So-
go in the character sheet?
it's darn it, I found it the other day. It's in okay, now I found it.
I'll have to try to remember. I mean, it doesn't have to take that much time.
Attributes. It's in
Attributes.
attributes. Should be the thing death saves exhaustion inspiration, and then there's a
there
ticky
it
box.
is. Oh, there is a box ticked here. Okay.
There's a ticky box.
It's a ticky box. Uh-huh. Okay.
Right. So let me. Yes, but your pen and your pen and paper. Deza is loaning pen and paper to Sori, but Sori would actually rather use the dirt for scratching out temporary messages.
Oh. Okay.
She wants to send 2 messages, and if there's 2 of us, then Sori could send the second one.
Okay.
The first one she has proposed is Crater interrupted tracks, Blue Dragon transported train after diplomacy, no helms or materials at center. Went inner surface looking for material. So many chromatic dragons! Which she proposes that one of them should send back to, I am blanking on the kobold's name, that we're trying to build a ship. Trying to build a helm, but we can't build a helm because we don't have helms.
Ertos?
Ertos.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. So
Im-
are you... Go ahead.
I am not suggesting this happens, but I'm amused with the thought of Utashi attempting this and saying, Crater interrupted tracks, like the tracks we were riding on. So yeah, that part. A Blue Dragon... oh, wait, I'm using too many words. Let me start over.
That's about how it's going to go. Yeah. I'm trying to remember, was Ertos a mechanical?
Ertos... oh, no, Ertos is a kobold.
Is
a
a ko-
kobold. Yes.
Cobalt. Okay, that's where I
Cobalt.
got lost. Okay.
Ertos and Molo are... they're not... they're cousins, I think. Molo was a swobold,
Right.
and Ertos was a kobold inventor,
Okay.
who then became a kobold artificer under Chroma's tutelage.
Oh, okay.
And if that doesn't unsettle you, you're not paying
It
attention.
should.
Yeah.
Ertos wasn't the
Um,
best of students.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while to convince Ertos that skunks were not necessary to use as weaponry in a mech. I mean, okay, Ertos understood they weren't necessary. However, the cost efficiency of something that will work for literal kibble,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that if you do that, you're going to need to multi-class into Druid, and that's just not efficient.
No, it's okay. My animal handling skill is way off the charts. It's almost double
Which
digits.
direction?
I refuse to answer on the ground that I might incriminate myself. The Fifth Amendment does not exist in the Circle of Tales. Not when
This doesn't-
multiple characters have the ability to read minds, detect truth, or otherwise make everything the person says be a truthful statement.
Okay.
Yeah, well.
All right. So which one of those 2 that you mentioned, the kobolds?
Sori
Should.
would like to have
Uh-huh.
you send have Utashi send the one that starts with the crater interrupting the tracks.
Okay.
That message back to our artificer on the grounds that this is useful data, maybe?
Okay. To the artificer. Okay. I
Yes.
can do that. All right. Now keep in mind that Utashi is from Meatbuzz clan, so you kind of know how this is going to go. You know?
That's why
if
she's
you're just
written
told,
it
read
out.
this, there's a
Yes.
there's a chance.
Yes.
If you want to be silly about it, I can ask you to make a wisdom check to see if you do work your way through the whole thing without getting sidetracked.
I think she's going to get sidetracked. She's not very smart. You know?
You can purposely fail the save if you want, and do that if you want.
Maybe. Some of this she doesn't understand, so she's gonna skip it. You know?
Just read the words here.
Okay,
Yes, that's
okay.
right. Read the words. Hear the
Utashi
words.
casts sending. Okay, I've been told to read these words exactly without going off the script, so here's what I'm going to say.
No.
She's gonna go a little off the script, but I check ability for wisdom. God, let's see what happens.
That's a 6 on the die.
It's a 6. Okay.
It's-
Yeah, I see the dice, but I'm using Safari, so it just sits
Yeah.
there. So you're gonna have to tell me what the dice rolls. But
With your
yeah.
wisdom bonus, you rolled a 7 for your ability to buckle down and just read the words as written.
Okay.
I'm going to say, like, 5 would be easy task,
Mm-hmm.
but this is Utashi, and how we're all RPing this,
Yeah,
I would have asked for at least a 10.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So Ertos is going to get what line of this message? How many lines of this message just don't get through in the first 25 words? The last one I'm
Okay.
assuming is way out.
Probably. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you at least say went inner surface?
Is it in there? Oh yeah, it is in there. Okay. All right. So she's gonna start her sending, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sending it to Ertos, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Ertos. This is Utashi. I'm sending you a message. We are in a different planet, and there's a crater, and it stopped the train, and there's a lot of. We need a helm, but we don't have one. If we got one, we could get back home. Maybe you can tell us how to do that. And we're in the inner surface now, and there's like a bunch of dragons here, like so many dragons. So let me know if you got this. Bye.
He didn't even get half of that. Not
She's
even
never
close
used
to half
sending
of
before.
that.
She doesn't know. You know, like I said, Mipo's clan. You know.
However, keep in mind, Ertos was on the trip here,
Mm-hmm.
which took a month in close quarters in space.
Mm-hmm.
You have just verified to Ertos that the message is definitely coming from you.
Perhaps we should attempt that again.
Again.
You get a sending back from Ertos.
Okay.
Great to hear you're alive. Keep in touch. I'm pretty sure I didn't hear most of what you said.
Should I try again?
It
How
burns
about-
the spell slot.
To read the message that Sori wrote this time.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna send again. I'll fix the spell slots later. But
I already took care of it for you.
oh, good. Okay, thank you.
So this is the second time you're casting
Second
this
try.
third level spell.
Second try.
So that's
yes.
going to take you down to 1 third level spell for the day. This is
Right,
fine.
but she's, you know. Okay, so I start ascending. Crater interrupted tracks. Blue Dragon transported train after diplomacy. No helms or materials at center. Went inner surface looking for material. So many chromatic dragons. And I stopped talking.
Okay. You get a reply back.
Mhm.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Cobots forgot to tell us world was hollow. Thought we knew. Keep in touch.
Okay. Does everyone hear the sending back or just me?
No, just you.
Just you.
Oh,
Oh no. You get to relay that part.
uh-huh. Okay, so I talked to Ertos twice, and I guess the first one he didn't get all of it for, so he said to try again, basically, and so I just read the thing that Sori gave me, and he said that this makes sense, and something about I can't remember all of this. Something about they didn't tell them the world was hollow.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
So at the part where Utashi is saying, apparently Ertos didn't get the whole message the first time,
Right.
this is everyone's mental reaction.
Yep. There's just the face palm
It's that.
sort of
It's that, yeah.
yeah.
Maury just stares. The rest of you act however you want to act.
Mm-hmm.
Sawyer just does the
Meeple's
stare.
clan. It's just what it is, you know? They're all like this.
Having
Saurius
created Meepo's clan and Meepo,
Uh-huh.
I want to disagree, but
You can't.
it's canon.
Yeah, it is.
They worshipped a dragonborn as a god
We did.
for a little while.
And then we killed it. Or someone
No,
else did.
no.
Oh, no, that was the next group, wasn't it?
No, the dragonborn was Phoenix Jr. You did not kill Phoenix Jr.
Oh, no, I thought, okay, never mind, just go. I'm
But
turning
also,
into a
you
Tashi over
worshipped
here.
Phoenix Jr. as a god.
We did. Mhm.
Phoenix
Originally.
Jr.
Yes, we did. Meepo was, I think, cleaning his armor for him, or trying to.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
how I introduced Meepo into the plot.
Yes, that was before he started. Yeah.
Anyway,
Sawyer would
I-
like to send a message as well, if that's okay.
you've got the spell slots, you do it.
Okay, I'm not sure how to untiki that spell slot at this moment. Sori is going to send back to Oldest Kep, who I believe was the leader of the clan that she was with.
Is not the leader.
Okay, it's not
Yes.
leader.
He is not the leader. He's the person who taught Longkep magic.
Also, he's probably the smartest one.
This is true.
And she is going to send ship shot, most dead, Kep okay. Offending weapon may be destroyed. No kobolds, cobots, humanoids, dragons. World hollow, inside many dragons. Inform circle of tales, please.
Okay. So, first of all, to manage your spell slots, if you want to cast a spell, the icon that's next to the spell name, which for sending looks like a little envelope, click on that.
Okay, I see it. Thank you.
There we go.
I thought that was only for rolling the die on it, but
Your reply comes with like 5 words worth of snoring, followed by, wait, what? Oh, okay. I'll let them know while it's fresh in my mind. Glad you're not dead.
us too. She's not sending that with the spell.
You're not going to use a whole spell slot for sending 2 words.
Nope. Gotta save the spell slot.
I
save
I
it.
feel the sudden urge to roll up a Kevin that has like message and sending and just uses it constantly. Actually, the Kevin that I made for Mutants and Masterminds already could do that. That was he was
Yeah.
psychic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but that'd be one step from Chadrick. That'd be a single Chegg stand from Chadrick. So no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that would have been a thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So while this wonderful event is occurring, what's Deza doing?
Just now managing to get back to the microphone.
Ah,
Taking notes, probably. Writing down what's happened over the last couple days.
all right.
It hasn't really been a couple days.
Well, the trip here from the center of the shell did take long enough that you got a long rest. So it hasn't been a couple days worth of action, but it has been a couple days in that regard. And I think Jen just got disconnected from Foundry.
Yeah, I was trying to put it in Google Chrome and I'm having issues here.
Ah,
but
okay.
I'll get there. Yeah. It's
All right.
easier to use, which I mean, Google, but it kind of works
Well, it's
better than
if your choices
Safari.
are Safari or Google,
Yeah.
I use
while
Firefly.
while I understand misgivings about using Google Chrome and I share them,
Mhm.
if given the choice between Safari and Google, Safari is the Internet Explorer of Apple operating systems.
Yeah, it is.
And I'd say that has even more truth to it now that even Microsoft has said people should stop using Internet Explorer.
Ugh.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Yeah. They should be
Anyway,
back into Foundry in a bit when it's ready. Yeah.
now that you sent the messages and you've had breakfast, Maury says, so now what?
I don't know.
We need
We
to
were-
clear the bones off the train tracks.
Oh, you're at
That would probably
Oh.
be
You're at the end of the tracks. The train stopped here because
Oh.
this was the end of the tracks. The bones were not a deterrent in any way, shape, or form. That's why they didn't slow the train down.
I misunderstood.
Quite all right.
Well, if this is the end of the train tracks, then what's supposed to be here?
Going here
Uh,
because it's an observatory.
Yes. You were sent to this spot because if there were hostile agents in the inner surface, then it was likely they would not have thought that a fake mountain was a strategic location, and you'd be able to show up without getting involved in combat right away. On paper, it was a good plan.
Pity we didn't put it on paper.
It was actually tapped out on the floor, but whatever.
Well, we've got this dragon's lair. We might want to put in anything that looks like it might be useful into the train car, so we're not completely empty-handed. Maybe there's something more useful. Maybe the dragon has a spare helm under all this stuff,
Well, the helm is a large chair.
We're looking for
Yeah.
metals.
and probably jewels.
Well,
We will
there's
look for metals and jewels.
there is an abundance of metal. Most of it appears to be copper, aluminum, and a few alloys. The kind of stuff that you would see being used to construct spaceships is what most of the piles are. There's more than one pile in here. There's also circuit boards, but for the most part, anything that isn't metallic in some way, shape, or form, or have lots of metal embedded in it, has been scraped away as it was considered to be not as valuable.
All right, so we will load the most useful looking parts of this into the cart and we will send it back.
I'm not sure I want to send the cart back without us. I'm not sure they'd think to put someone... I don't know if they think to send it back.
We could leave a note, but there's no guarantee that they know how to read.
I can do a sending again. Okay, let's see. Start scribbling out on the ground.
I love that when characters get to the level where they can cast sending, a significant portion of the game time is spent counting words.
Mm-hmm.
It happened in
There's-
Critical Role.
Yep.
It didn't happen with Meepo. Meepo just started talking.
Exactly.
The rest of us counted, and okay, at that point, they stopped hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one was when Meepo got a sending from the kobolds that were the current party, and immediately turned and said, Mr. Vex, and everything that Meepo said to Mr. Vex was the reply.
Yeah.
Or at least the first 25 words of it.
Yeah. Well, she was a child, though. She was a little thing at that point, I think. But yeah.
She was a few years older. She was considered an adult by kobold standards at that
Oh,
point.
okay, then. Yeah.
'Cause
But she didn't really hang
Meepo,
out
the
with kobolds
character-
much, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Meepo,
Mhm.
the character, had been retired at that point, along with Vex, which is why they were on the
Oh,
planet, and able to
right.
come in super powered and help out that
that's
round
right.
of kobold.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember now.
And they assisted with there was something I forget what they were fighting.
I don't remember.
That was a joke. It was Tiamat. Somebody cast a wish spell.
Oh, okay, now I remember. Mhm.
Yeah. Everyone is typing. Here
There.
we go.
The plan, which Sori will share with everyone, is to do White Dragon made lair in observatory. Defeated barely. Sending horde bits back. Please send train back for us. Repeat. Please send train back.
Who are you sending this to?
The only one who's awake there right now.
This is fine. I'm pretty sure that the Cobot who has forgotten how many zeros are in their name will remember this.
I do not necessarily mean that one of us should not escort the materials.
True. Maury, do you want to go back with it? It'd probably be safer.
I am not going on that train alone.
Valid.
We don't have to send the horde back right now.
True. We should load up what looks useful though.
Okay. I got
And-
tiny things.
And the more we send back now, the more we can send back in the next trip that will potentially be useful.
You were not actually given an itemized list of exactly what materials they needed that they were short on to make a helm.
No,
So,
we weren't.
At this point, sending anything that looks like it might be useful
Uh-huh.
is a viable strategy.
Uh-huh. Actually, let's see.
What are these little bits?
You use investigation for technical knowledge, right?
I have been doing that, yes.
Can I roll investigation?
You certainly can.
Okay,
Would you like me to click a button that has the thing pop up for you?
not yet. I would like to look at my... Okay, yes, I would like to... I have not clicked the long rest button. Why do I only have 1/3 level spell slot? Where's the long rest button?
The long rest button is under your hit dice, next to hit points.
Okay, I cast Borrowed Knowledge.
You draw on knowledge from spirits of the past. Choose one skill in which you lack proficiency. For the spell's duration, you have proficiency in the chosen skill. The spell ends early if you cast it again. Ooh. And considering the spirits of the past that would be in this area. Ooh.
The GM sounds happy.
Well, I love it when a plot comes together.
Especially when the PCs do it.
Longcap is going to go over to the Horde. It just says a book worth at least 25 gold pieces. I feel like a spell book probably counts here.
Book doesn't get destroyed or anything, does it?
No.
Okay.
Just
Usually
says a
if
book,
it's something
doesn't say it can't be my spell book.
That's true. Your spell book, when empty, costs more than 25 gold pieces. And it's not empty. And yeah, unless it says the materials are destroyed when you cast, you can assume that they're not destroyed when the spell is cast. So when Zeely was worried about Socks using up all of Zeely's copper wire from casting sending over and over and over again, or message, or whichever spell was being used at the time, I'm still going to say that's canon, but no copper wire was used up unless Socks was doing something else with it.
Yeah, I would like to note again that Zeely has never been proficient in the Arcana skill.
Fair. Also,
May
I can
have
totally
been
see.
throwing away the copper wire after use due to being convinced it was no longer usable.
And Socks may have known it was still usable, but still may have also thrown it away after use, just because Socks. It seems like something Socks would do. In any case, you got an 18 on your investigation skill check. So, what would you like to know?
I want to know if... Sorry. Okay, let me think about how I am going to phrase this. I think Deza is investigating in the meantime. Go ahead and address her role while I think.
Certainly. Now, Deza got a 14. That's still going to reveal something. Deza, what do you want to know?
Deza is just picking through the loot piles looking for anything interesting.
Okay. Of the stuff that's in there, there's a lot of circuit board material that, well, it depends on how well the cobots can grind up silicon to reuse. But there's some stuff that looks like, well, this won't be as useful. So if you're trying to prioritize, you're able to find the circuit boards that look like they're more or less intact and prioritize those over the ones that have lots of cracks in them or pieces that look like they've been ripped off or stuff like that. So you're definitely able to do that. While you're doing that, Mari is just picking up rolls of coiled copper wire and loading those. From Maury's perspective, the copper wire seems to be the most expensive stuff here because making copper wire is kind of a skill.
Uh-huh.
Especially if you don't have an industrial era setup for making it.
I mean, she's probably not wrong.
So Utachi's going to go around and try to find shiny things because maybe metal is shiny and, you know.
Gemstones.
You find these little square things. Some of them say AMD, some of them say Intel. They might be worth a copper or two, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know who uses these, but I'm going to pick them up.
What does this say? NVIDIA? Worthless!
I assume there's spells that I don't know yet.
Arcane symbols.
Yes. Yeah.
What's
And if
the
there's any
strange-
like gems, she'll pick a couple of those up as well, as much as she can carry.
What's the strange white box? It says Apple One on it.
That's not an apple.
probably doesn't have any historical significance whatsoever.
She wouldn't think so. Mhm.
Okay, Longcap is going to go over to the pile and sit down and lay out their spell book and press their hands together and speak the words to cast. And they are going to try to invoke whatever echoes there might be of the kobolds who hopefully worked here. Hopefully it wasn't all kobots. Or if it is, hopefully kobots can leave like necromantic echoes. And tries to look for what they would have thought was useful here.
I want to use the word compulsion, but that's not right. You feel like the spirits that are here want you to step outside the cave.
Longcap is going to cautiously head towards the entrance and send Smallest Kep out and look through Smallest Kep's eyes.
Okay. How am I going to resolve this? There's snowdrifts that are rapidly melting. You are sending Smallest Kep through that. So I do want to roll. I know Smallest Kep doesn't have the same stats as you, but I'm just going to send the request roll to you anyway, because I can still look at the die roll.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a dexterity check. Also, when you are looking through... Did you get it?
No, I've gotten nothing.
All right, let's try this again.
It's like the sending spells from a little while ago.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get it this
I know I'm not
there we
getting
go.
anything.
Oh, you got a 4.
I use my inspiration.
May I make a DM request of no, this is better?
All right.
Okay.
That's fair.
All right. So, Tiniest Kep marches bravely into the snowdrift. It does that thing where it's climbing up over it because the wet snow has some firmness to it, and Tiniest Kep is kind of light, so it can do that. Then it gets over the edge, and then it's a matter of now it's angling down, and its forward momentum makes it trip up, and it rolls, and it snowballs. Not that anyone in the party has encountered this before in this campaign.
No, not
the
at
last
all.
time you were on a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look through Tiniest Kep's eyes, do you also hear, or is it vision only?
I will look at the description of Find Familiar.
My assumption is it's all the senses.
I can see and hear, and when I do this, I cannot see and hear through my own eyes and ears.
Wonderful. That makes us better. Okay, so because otherwise there'd be pantomiming and that'd be weird. All right, so you see Tiniest Kep's little forelimbs come up, and everyone back in the mountain cave hears Longcap saying 3 words. First word, 2 syllables. Sounds like no. That is hilarious, but that is not canon. So for a while, what you see is white. There is sunlight coming through the snow that is wrapped up, so it's not that thick a snowball. And the sensation of spinning head over skeletal tail. And then it stops suddenly. And the snow covering Tiniest Kep's head is brushed off by a gauntleted hand. A metal face with glowing eyes looks down at Tiniest Kep. And a voice that sounds like it's coming from inside a bucket says, "Oh, hello, little one. Are you the one who was calling me?"
Longcap
And
pokes
that's where we're
their
going to
head
end it for
out.
tonight.
Actually, I was going to say we've been playing for almost an hour. Should we take a short break?
Yeah.
Sorry for talking over you.
Yeah, what did you say?
I said Longcap pokes their head out.
And then we take a break before we find out what Longcap sees.
We are going to take a break before we see what Longcap sees.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I only got half of a syllable of that, but that's fine.
Button.
Oh no.
All right, we're back, and a metal humanoid being who talks like they're coming from inside a bucket, which I guess is because the speaker or whatever is inside a bucket, or their helmet or whatever, has found Tiniest Kep in a snowball, as one does. And at that moment, Long Kep poked their head out of the cave. Long Kep, are you still looking through the eyes of your familiar?
No. Long Kep is now going to look through the eyes of Long Kep.
Okay. You can't see that far down the mountain. There are some angle issues.
Oh, Long Kep will go back through looking through the eyes of their familiar.
You're hearing the metal person say, "Okay, 2 words. First word sounds like gong. Okay, long. I got it in 1. Yeah. Okay. Second word.
I'm
One
just
syllable.
going to have I'm going to tell Smallest Kep to do the universal hand-wiggling gesture of please pick me up and then point in the direction of the cave.
Oh, we changed games. That's the universal hand gesture for pick me up. I know that one. All right.
Uppies, uppies.
Yes.
Look. Yes, it's the uppies gesture.
All right. Well, I wasn't planning on climbing a mountain today, but okay. Here, hold on. And Tiniest Kep is placed on top of their helmet, or head if it's not a helmet, whatever. There is some considerable climbing because the main direction that both Long Kep and Tiniest Kep know for which way they came is down. So mountain trails might exist, but no one has recognized them at this point. However, eventually, after not too much additional snowballing, there is a rather tall metal person, and I do believe I have art for them. Hold on. And I have an add-on that I've added, so I can just make their art show up. So this is what they look like in mint condition. They don't look like this anymore. They do look like they are wearing a full suit of armor. The general proportions are that of maybe a human or orc or one of the taller humanoid races.
Do they have the little smokestacks from their shoulders?
Yes, they do. There is the sound of whirring gears and clockwork when they move. They move in one of
forged.
They move in one of 2 different ways. Either if it's a more precise movement, it moves in starts and stops almost like the second hand on a watch would move to get to a specific position. Or if it's a longer movement that can be done in an arc, there's almost like a release mechanism and that limb swings in a direction. So as you can imagine, this can be very awkward at times, especially if they are walking in any particular amount of distance. Now, like I said, this image I shared is what they looked like in mint condition. There's lots of dents. There's some missing bits of armor. There's some spots that appear to have been patched with a collection of dead vines that have been wrapped around spots or wrapped into spots. And it looks like they haven't had a good polishing in who knows how long.
Hello, I am Long Kep. You have encountered my familiar. There is no longer a dragon in this cave, which, considering the condition of the sky, may be quite unusual. Would you like to come in?
Oh, thanks for inviting me. I am Cog Chipped Claw. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Utashi, they're from your clan. I will note that this is yelling to reach Utashi, and not because Long Kep is particularly excited, but the effect is the same.
And the best part is Jen has just gone AFK to take care of a bird.
No.
Because it is bird bedtime.
Aww.
So just making sure none of your dragons are elves, are you?
No. They are kobolds.
You're very tall for a kobold.
That is why I am named Long Kep.
The eyes don't have the ability to blink, but there is a moment where you just hear some more gears whirring. Oh, horizontal and vertical. Gotcha. Okay. And you don't have enough scales to be a kobold. No, I'm a human.
She's
Ori is a diplomat.
yes. She's with us, being diplomatic.
Okay. And okay, yeah, you're a kobold, and you're a kobold, and you're a kobold. It has been a long time since I've seen another kobold. Did you know your tail was plush?
Yes, it's very tragic.
Oh, yeah, I know something about tragedy. I mean, I lost my whole me.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
Yeah, it was during the orbital bombardment.
I get the impression the elves did not actually come to a triumphant end.
I don't know, I wasn't there for that part, but, fortunately, instead of having my soul go off to paradise, it was captured and put inside a soul gem inside this metal monstrosity. So now I can fight for all eternity.
Is that good?
Is that what you wanted to do?
I don't have a choice in whether or not I like it.
Oh,
Does that mean that you have to like it?
Yes, but also, that means I do like it.
Okay.
Efficient.
So who are you fighting?
Well, technically it's supposed to be all of the invaders, which at the time was elves, and then the dragons. Now it's just dragons.
You know
There-
where all of these dragons are coming from.
Up.
Center of the world is producing dragons.
Well, big dragons do make little dragons, so yes, for a certain amount of yes.
Ah, you said they were invaders, so I assumed that they were issuing from elsewhere and not simply breeding.
Well, at first they came from elsewhere, might have snuck in through a tunnel. Some of them might have come in through the volcanoes. Some of the volcanoes stopped working during the orbital bombardment, so there's ways through them now.
That up. Ah.
Yeah, in the areas that are mostly like ash, yeah. all
What
the
are
issues-
they eating?
Well, the interior here was mostly where we did all the growing of food and stuff because, 100% daylight. Crops
Right.
grow really well, and we had our livestock here too, so a lot of them sort of just ended up being wild. So, yeah, dragons eat those.
Right. Utashi, this is a chipped claw.
Hi.
really? Hi. Oh, I didn't know. How did you end up here?
I died.
Oh, right. Okay.
And got put in a soul gem and then got put in the Warforged.
Oh, okay. So you're Kobold Warforged, sorta?
I
don't know.
No.
Okay, so you're a Kobold.
I am or was. I was told that my template was Gearforged Templar.
I don't know what that means. It must be what I'm looking at, though, right?
I don't know what it means either,
Oh.
but I was told prototype, and that means we don't know how it'll break yet.
Oh, okay.
You've been doing real well if you remember the bombardment.
Well, I have my brother to keep me company.
Careful look. Careful look.
Okay, I recognize that look.
Think-
My brother's not here with me right now.
Relieved
Back home.
look.
He doesn't get out much. He sends his puppets for that.
Puppet?
Is he in a soul gem too?
Oh, no, he didn't die, technically.
And technically is the
am
best kind?
Suddenly deeply fascinated by this line of discussion.
I mean, he's not the same as he was back in the day. Although we've been doing this long enough that back in the day, we were exactly like this. Depends on which day.
Mm.
And did you say you're from the Chipclaw clan?
Yep,
So am I.
pleased to meet you. I'm Cog Chipped Claw.
Oh, I'm Matashi.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Cog Chipped Claw.
Uh-oh.
Pat.
Did I break him?
No, it's a subroutine. You introduce yourself, and I say a response. But then if you say if you introduce yourself again, I just say the response again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a few things I don't have any control over.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
Get that.
I'm programmed to like it.
Oh. Would you like it if you had more control over them?
The ticking stops for a little bit, then starts again and says, "Oh, hello.
Hi.
Are you all right?
I'm mostly working.
Hmm.
Do you remember us?
Well, yeah, you're the kobolds, and the not a kobold, well, the long kobold who's tall, and the human diplomat, and the dead white dragon.
Is not part of our group.
Well,
Yet.
yes. What?
Was I unclear?
I think you may have been.
Dead White Dragon is not part of our group yet.
Point.
So I don't
you-
have a lot of mandates in this current iteration of me, but one of them is stop all the invaders. That's an invader.
It's pretty stopped.
Yeah, which is why I'm not attacking.
Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't be
It
attacking
would
you. You're a
not
kobold.
be an invader if it, and again, all of the component pieces might be too large to assemble it into the proper format. Also,
You do
our
some
diplomat
post-mortem-
would find it upsetting.
In my head canon, we flash forward and Longcap has done some post-mortem surgery, and now we have a petite white dragon zombie.
They have considered this. They are considering this.
Which actually just means that you removed like a bunch of the vertebrae and stuff, so now it's chibi anime dragon, but zombie.
Large head and
Well, you can't shrink the skull, so that's going to be regular size, no matter how many bones you remove from the rest of it.
if you take off the one set of legs and keep the wings, you could probably make a nice little wyvern thing. Looks
I'm
sort of
gonna
like a
leave this-
Funko Pop.
I'm going to leave this to somebody else to plan out how that works. Because I don't want to think about it right now.
The spell only works on humanoids.
Not with that attitude.
If you take off a set of the legs, and you've got like two quote arms unquote and two legs and a head, and that makes it a humanoid, right?
I don't think the magic works that way unless the DM is
Does
very,
say
very
that
tired.
a pile of bones or a corpse of a medium or small humanoid. So if I removed enough of the bones,
Right.
Again, post-mortem surgery.
Yes.
You perform a bone-ectomy.
Yes.
I do not think I should actually do this. And also,
Not yet, anyway.
Longcap is going to go find Deza.
Mhm.
Deza,
Yes.
we have made contact with a kobold.
Hello, my name is Cog Chipped Claw.
Where was this conversation taking place?
At the mouth of the cave.
Okay. Give me a moment. And Deza is looking up and away and tapping her foot and mouthing something silently and saying, and then she says, okay, got it. So, what's the next step?
Well, I should probably take you to meet my brother.
Mhm.
I mean, it's been a
Wonderful. I was-
really long time since we saw other kobolds.
Oh, wow.
Can you tell us what parts are useful for making helms, if there's anything in here that is?
The
The kind of helm in a ship. Kind of helm in a ship. Not the kind of helm you put on your head.
Oh yeah, I already got one of those. Clonk clonk.
Right.
So remember how I said that Cog moves? So the clonk clonk is because both of their shoulders shift as if something has been dislocated, and then they swing their torso left and right, and their fists come up and hit the helmet.
Oh dear.
One hitting the helmet on one side, then swing, and the other hand hits the helmet on the other side.
Oh dear.
And then they snap back into place.
Huh. Neat.
I'm a monstrosity.
You're a wonderful monstrosity.
So I've been told.
Good.
Or was told. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, was there a question? I thought there was a question. Oh, helms! Yes, I recognize what helm you were talking about. We always left that up to the cobots. It's a shame they're all gone now.
They're not all gone.
What?
They're
I
on
haven't
the other.
seen one in thousands of years.
That's because they didn't think to come here. There's some in hibernation in the center, and then there's others on the surface, but they don't know how to get here anymore, I
Well,
think.
we gotta go get them.
Why?
They can help.
Yes, but they don't have any parts to help.
We got the parts. They can help. We don't have cobots to do anything with the parts.
Oh.
How many cobots do you need to come?
All of them.
That's a lot of
Awesome.
cobots.
Remember, my primary function right now is getting rid of all the invaders. A cobot army can help with that.
I don't think there's an army that can army a bunch of dragons
It's a
without
moral imperative.
point. If they could build more of a cobot army that was more focused on getting rid of invaders.
I found a forge.
Oh.
Okay, that has like an anvil and
A cobot forge.
It makes cobots?
Well, no.
Oh.
No, cobots make cobots. But cobots need supplies.
uh-huh.
And cobots
Mhm.
need optimal conditions to speed up the process. That's
Uh-huh.
what a cobot forge is. I found one, but it's got no
Oh.
cobots. You found cobots.
So
We get the cobots to the forge, we get more cobots.
That's
Mhm.
true. We could send back supplies and if we send back things, I'm not sure even with a message it will work out very well because the only one who's been awake is kind of a ditz.
Kind of. Oh, it got sapient.
I hate to tell you this, but by this time, I think all of the ones who aren't the little bitty ones are probably sapient.
You have
I hope-
actually already talked to one that is not.
We have?
The admin you talked to was not sapient.
Right.
Okay.
There,
Sorry, it's
There's
not entirely
different-
clear.
yeah, there's different percentage chances. Time is always a factor. The longer a cobot exists, the more likely it is to become sapient. Isolation is also a thing that'll do it. The less they hang out with more cobots, the more likely they are to be sapient. Some of them just don't have the processing power to be very
Right.
likely. Like the harvesters can still do it, but it's incredibly rare.
Pause. I think a lot of the ones are sapient now. I hope that's not a problem. They seem very nice and I like them.
I mean, some kobolds thought it was a bug, but it didn't really hurt anything. So,
Oh, good. But the one who's been there is a little
didn't
I'm
have
not
a brother
sh-
to keep them sane, is what you're saying.
yeah.
My
Yeah.
brother. Ooh, we gotta go tell him. He'll worry if I just head out.
Oh, well, okay. Let's go.
All right, follow me. Cog heads right out the cave entrance.
There he goes.
Bye
You
bye.
hear a
Clunk, clunk, clunk.
of something sliding through a snowdrift, followed by clunk, clunk, clunk.
Okay,
We
I guess
can't
we'll
travel
follow
that way.
Wait,
Point of
I'm-
order: you traveled that way. Session 1.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, it's not
Most of you didn't like it.
Uh-huh.
We're not
Sorry?
supposed to travel that way.
right. Sorry is going to endeavor to not travel that way but to follow a bit more cautiously.
There are, in fact, mountain trails that you can take down the mountain, especially since the mountain is technically artificial. The kobolds who had it designed planned to have trails. They're a little eroded, but, they're serviceable. It's a shame no one serviced them for thousands of years, but they're serviceable.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to require rules for you to make it down the hill. It'd be funny. It would be funny, but it's after 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So, smash cut to, you're at the bottom of the hill. You may flavor the experience as you wish. Some of you might have twigs sticking out of various parts of your clothing from the way down.
Sorry has protected her tail.
Mm-hmm.
Her tail, where she keeps most of her, components. It has pockets.
Cog is at the bottom of the mountain. They currently have their head off, and they're shaking the loose bits of snow and rocks out of their head before putting their head back on and twisting it in a way where it snaps into place.
Okay.
Ah, you made it.
Uh-huh.
All right. We all here?
I think so.
It's important to use the buddy system.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that makes
But-
sense.
But because we're in a hurry, I'll be everyone's buddy.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone hold on to the rope. There is no rope. Off we go.
Okay.
Imaginary rope. Stay with the group.
Yep, okay.
All right. And you head off into the scrub brush and stuff that's at the bottom. It is way more humid here than it was at the top of the mountain. And that's saying something because you had tons of snow melting up there where it was uncharacteristically warm for a mountaintop.
It's a rainforest. And this step is wet. And this step is wet.
That's okay.
New map.
And New
Oh,
map,
new map?
smaller map.
And
Okay.
that's a mushroom. And that's a mushroom. And that's a mushroom.
Yeah, the mushrooms give off spores and stuff. Don't worry, they won't hurt me.
But do they hurt biological kobolds?
Well, My brother usually uses them against dragons.
I'm not touching them.
Probably for the best.
Oh, why didn't I learn Purify Air? I should have memorized Purify Air today.
Tromp, tromp, tromp.
You start to notice things staring at you through the leaves.
Do I notice?
Even Utashi notices.
Oh, there's stuff in there. I think
Oh,
there was
yeah.
nest.
That's puppets.
Puppets? Oh, right. Your brother makes puppets?
Yep,
Okay.
they guard the area.
Oh, wait. I wave at one of them.
It raises a claw and waves back. The puppet
Oh.
that's waving at you looks like a tiny dragon, like a young dragon, very young dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Way younger than the white dragon you were fighting before. Maybe a hatchling. It is wrapped in vines.
Are you stuck?
No, the vines are those are the puppet strings.
Oh, okay.
You
Long-
have vines too.
Longcap recognizes that these things are, if they are alive, it is only in the strict biological sense.
Hmm.
And I talked over a question
Fascinating.
that's being asked.
Sorry is going, you're wrapped in vines too.
Oh, yeah, well, my brother patched me up a bit.
Ah,
Not as good as the original stuff, but hard to find. Being a
yeah.
prototype and all, there weren't a lot of interchangeable parts.
Makes sense.
Now, up ahead on the trail, there's a pile of loose detritus, leaves, more vines and roots and stuff. And it all kind of just like lifts up and wraps around itself. Imagine, if you will, Swamp Thing.
Blink, blink, blink.
Oh, that's new.
Brother, you return. Yeah! I brought friends! Kobolds! We got kobolds back! Yeah! It's not just us!
Wave, wave, wave.
They are not all kobolds. Well, yeah, one's a human, one's a tall kobold. Or long kobold. Whatever. That one's not a kobold either. What do you mean? They're covered in scales, they got a tail?
Excuse me.
Yes.
I am so a kobold. I just am wearing glasses.
I was referring to the tiny dragon.
Not a dragon. I don't have wings.
Do you breathe fire?
It depends on how spicy the food is. I'm not a dragon. I have a tail. Hug tail.
The tail is artificial.
I know.
Brother, with all due respect, I'm all artificial. I'm still a kobold. We agree to disagree about what we are now.
Kobolds found me, and I don't remember very much, if really anything before that. And I'm in their clan now. And I'm not a dragon. Dragons breathe fire a lot. The ones that breathe fire.
There is a sigh that extends out from a lot of places of this form, not just where the mouth would be. I am Bog, Chipped Claw.
Oh, you're from my clan too. I'm Utashi.
You are Chipped Claw?
Yes,
They survive.
some of us sure did. Some are doing really well.
This pleases. It is good to make your acquaintance, Utashi.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, Cog, the metal kobold, Bog, the plant kobold. Kind of funny, right? These were our names when we were born.
Well, that is kind of funny. Like strange, but okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm mostly talking right now because everyone else is being quiet, and I really don't like silence so much. So
Oh.
I'm just kind of filling the space until
Oh,
someone.
yeah.
Brother, why have you brought them?
To say hi?
Oh, they found cobots. We can take them to the forge. Are they strong enough? I mean, they killed a white dragon.
Does the forge have a dragon in it?
Yes,
Ah.
a red one,
Oh. Those are smarter than white ones.
and stronger.
Ah. It wasn't. How big?
Its power is beyond ours, my brother and self.
Hmm.
Maybe we should get a careful look at it and then go back and talk to the cobots we found.
I did get a look at it.
What did it look like?
I mean, it was big and red, and it had teeth and claws, and it went, ah!
That could be a dragon.
That does sound like a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I know my dragons. Well, they're
There's a
not
lot.
mine, technically. Each dragon is its own thing, I guess.
If they're on the top of the world, do they count as invaders or just as indigenous dragons?
We did not make this world to contain dragons.
The other side of it?
Either side is
Oh.
still the world. They found their way in sometime after the bombardment ended.
I mean, there was a polite one on the other side. Are you sure there couldn't be a treaty with the ones who are polite?
We haven't found many side that were cordial.
That's what I figured. I mean,
They mostly choose to destroy everything our civilization built, fighting over
Jerks.
the scraps.
jerks. Just 'cause they're extra big.
It's not just that. Do you know the history of this world?
No,
How
that's
it
why.
came to be?
Deza, I think you're up.
Deza prepares to ready history lecture, or failing that, notes from history lecture.
Either that or Deza wants to take a whole bunch of notes herself.
That's the second thing, yes.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was thinking about mushrooms. What do you want me to do?
Deza, history of the world. They made the whole world. They didn't just hollow out this part, apparently.
I mean, we didn't
Mhm.
personally make it, but we were born here.
I thought we knew that.
I was under the impression that we were looking for for the Kobold homeworld.
Oh, this isn't the home world. For all intents and purposes, there isn't one.
There isn't?
No.
What happened?
Are you familiar with the term spontaneous generation?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes kobolds just happen.
It's true
Oh,
for
that,
many
okay.
species.
Huh?
However, for this world, there wasn't a world here in this. This world was built by the kobolds themselves to be a factor.
For the Kobold Empire.
Yes. Which I imagine has probably fallen by now.
Yeah.
Long enough ago that most people don't know there was one.
It has been a very long time.
We came looking, and something shot our ship down.
Elves, most likely.
I
Mori is trying to look very small, which is very difficult to do when all of your friends are kobolds.
I need to make a roll. The question is it a wisdom roll or is it intelligence roll? Because I just thought of something and I don't
What-
know.
What are you trying to figure out?
Sori thinks that what shot us down was probably a repurposed defense against the Elf Armada. I think that's what she wants to
Requested
think.
roll incoming.
It loads slowly, slowly, slowly. Skill check investigation. That
With
is
an
not
8,
good. Nope.
with an 8, you're not really sure how they used the beam. How they came to have the beam.
Maybe someone with a better IQ can figure the thing out.
Well, it's not going to be Utashi.
Somewhere on the moon, Chroma begins to vibrate. Turns out Chroma had a sending stone in one of their belt pouches and it was set to vibrate.
What role were we making here?
Investigation.
Okay.
Has it been over an hour or am I still proficient in investigation?
I'll allow it. I would say you're right at you're in the 50 minutes or so mark.
I'm going to use my inspiration on that one.
Oh.
We'll take the 10 from you. And Longcap got a 14. Longcap isn't sure that there was any kobold technology used in that beam. Considering all of the iconography and everything that was in that room, it's most likely it was some type of divinely conjured beam. Like the most intense guiding bolt ever.
Longcap will elect not to state this.
Deza figured out the same thing with the 19.
That's an insight check for noticing why Mori is trying to look very small.
Yeah, it's... Well, considering the conversation just turned to how your ship got shot down,
Right.
it may very well have been Mori's father who ordered the strike.
That's what I thought.
We don't blame Mori for it. I mean, how could we? She was making bakery products.
Not everyone is willing to forgive the sins of the father. In this case, quite literally.
Well,
Also,
she
we
had.
did blow up their temple. So, fair's fair.
Yeah, fair's fair.
You wrecked the murals.
That was not fair.
That's the action that's going to keep Deza up at night.
Yeah. She's still trying to reproduce them in her notebooks.
You got keen mind afterwards.
I know.
It's the last bit of information that you don't have with perfect clarity.
Alas. Well, something shot us down anyway.
So the surface is still populated by invaders.
I think by this time they don't know they're invaders anymore. And they need a place to stay too, so...
Irrelevant. They are not kobolds.
What if kobolds vouched for some of them as friends?
How many would you vouch for?
Definitely Maury.
At that point, all of the puppets and Bog look over in Maury's direction. Maury gives the smallest of waves and the sickliest of smiles.
She helped save us.
She did.
Maury mutters under her breath, hopefully low enough that your new friends don't hear, but Utashi's right there, so Utashi hears, I've been paying for it ever since.
Yeah, poor Maury.
Crash, you're being really quiet.
Well, sorry, I was being quiet because Maury's trying to be quiet. But Maury says under her breath, I've been paying for it ever since.
Yeah, kinda. But on the plus side, we will stick up for her.
Very well. Maury will be spared. We will mulch the rest.
Slightly better idea?
There may
could-
be toxic chemicals in some of them. Composting is the best solution.
I mean, what about exporting?
Oh.
Because I have a terrible feeling that our druid might actually vouch for at least another one, and maybe. Don't talk to him, he's terrible. Also, he's not here.
One
There
druid
are-
to another. I think we'd see eye to eye.
Groups here.
You don't have eyes
that-
anymore. I'm sorry, what was Lon kept saying?
There are groups here that are willing to conduct diplomacy. Mulching those seems counterproductive to the desire of others to conduct diplomacy with the Circle of Tales.
Right.
Does my brother look like a being who benefited from diplomacy?
The
Do
circle?
I look like someone who benefited from diplomacy? We have been alone for thousands, untold thousands of years. Everything we know is dead or in ruins, and you wish to talk peace.
It seems like it might be a better solution than what didn't work before.
Who did this to you?
The elves.
I gather they ran into the Circle of Tales too, and things got weird.
What's the Circle of Tales?
The kobolds!
Oh
The
yeah.
kobold clans!
It's a group of them representing all the clans.
Mhm.
Or more than one person. Maybe
Sounds
they
like
take
the
turns,
Kobold
I don't
Empire.
remember. I don't know if it's an empire.
I mean, where they're not taking over whole planets or continents, we're just living with everybody
Well,
else, right?
We did kind of take over the moon.
Oh,
Well, no one else-
okay.
Which one?
Well, the planet we lived on only had the one.
Ah, okay.
And there wasn't anyone on it before. I mean, except kobolds. A long time ago.
Well,
I have heard that it was stolen for a while.
I heard that too. I didn't know if it was true.
I mean, it was gone.
Cog looks over at Bog and says, Are you following this? Some of it. Okay, it's not just me then.
The Circle of Tales is a group of kobolds who are banded together, lots of different clans, and to have peace among the clans and expand kobold knowledge. And that's why we were trying to come back to what we thought was the kobold homeworld.
Well, you're in the wrong place.
Really?
I think it's the right place. People can
This-
build homes too.
I mean, yeah, we built it, but it's not the home world. It's the factory.
Oh,
Well-
right. It is.
Right.
Technically, the term we used was Forge World.
Okay.
Deza looks thoughtful for a minute.
It was meant to
Okay.
be a prototype.
I see where we got the misconception.
To be fair, it was the only world that was just for kobolds. I can see how there may have been some in that.
Well, that and when all of the relics that you have of the Empire look like they come from a particular world, it's going to be pretty easy to draw the conclusion that that's the home world, if you don't know of the existence of Forge worlds.
Well, there was only the one. This is it.
Right.
Was it. At the time of the bombardment, we still didn't have all the bugs worked out. Do you have any idea how hard it is to engineer a working ecosystem from scratch?
It probably took hundreds of druids at least.
You don't know the half of it, but yes.
Okay, so y'all got quiet again. So I
Yeah.
think I'm going to talk about my favorite rocks. There's
I
this
am
one. It's kind of
still-
round.
Attempting to comprehend the situation.
Mm-hmm.
There are present enemies. I do not believe that the Elf Armada is here anymore, but if they are an enemy. There are many dragons who are down here destroying everything. Those are enemies. There is the political entity that decided to attempt to dissect and murder diplomats. That is an enemy. Do we need to attack political groups that have not decided to offer hostilities when there are so many hostilities to choose from already?
My brother and I have been alive, for varying definition of the word, for a very long time. So we are capable of thinking long term.
I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
You didn't have anything. The cough was not necessary, but it was very necessary. Perhaps the invaders on the surface don't need to be treated like immediate threats, but I imagine we will revisit this immediate concern are whether or not you are strong enough to face a red dragon.
I am very suspicious that we would need reinforcements. Not that I've seen the dragon. If we could get sight of the dragon, we'd know how many reinforcements we might need.
I mean, it's big, but it's not big.
Yes, but we've used some spells already trying to send messages back to tell people what was going on.
We don't have to go up against it right now.
Right, we should
In
get a
a
look
fight
at
like this, you prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Agreed.
Then I propose you go and gather your...
How long was the dragon? Like, bigger than that mushroom over there?
Here, I'll draw you a picture.
Okay.
And cogs pulls out their sword and they start scratching an outline into the ground.
Look at the outline. And proportionally, how big are you?
It was about that big.
As long as that's not actually appearing.
It's not actually appearing there. No, I'm putting an icon that's the right scale in place. I do not have prepared a drawing in the dirt of a red
Yes.
dragon to
Right,
share with
right.
you.
Okay.
That is smaller than the white dragon, isn't it?
Smaller, about the same size.
Mm-hmm.
Was the white dragon?
Now the dragon's got reinforcements.
White dragon is the same size.
Okay.
Oh, that was a
More or
smaller
less.
dragon than I thought we fought.
I mean, when it's running, when it's flying around and breathing at us, it seems a lot bigger.
So far as lore is concerned, technically the red dragon is a little bit bigger than the white dragon. So far as game mechanics are concerned, it takes up the same number of squares on the map.
Okay.
I think we should certainly not go after it without resting up.
Well, if I remember correctly, the train car ride takes a while.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does.
Well, why don't we escort the contents of the treasure hoard back to what was it called? Dazal will remember, player doesn't. The place with the cobots.
The inner layer one.
I don't remember if I gave it a special name.
Oh, well, that could be a problem.
It was cohort 0512.
Mm.
Why don't we escort the contents of the treasure hoard back to the cohort, and Cog can come with us and see for themselves that we know working cobots. And then you can tell them what you need them to do.
That sounds like a plan. And Cog looks over at Bog. And even though Cog doesn't have a face, and their body language is somewhat hindered by how they move, I won't require a roll. They are asking for permission to leave their brother alone for a while. I will be fine. I have some gathering of supplies to manage. It is best if you are not here for that. Okay, that sounds like an excellent idea. Let's go!
Be careful. Don't get set on fire by red dragons or anything, okay?
I am not going anywhere near there.
Good.
My puppets, on the other hand, serve many purposes. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, everyone, for playing. My name is Crash. I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Io, and Jen. So today I was editing the Cypher System game we played, The Grand Adventure, and I really liked the whole idea of asking people what their favorite part of the session was, because you get to give kudos to other players who did fun things. So who has something to plug or something cool that they liked?
I mean, I always plug Io's Mom Writes Books, elizabeth-mccoy.com, and I must admit I liked Longcat insisting that diplomacy for people who are not immediately hostile seems like a good idea when we're in such a target-rich environment anyway.
Aw.
Yep.
Speaking of books,
Longcap does not
right.
understand the concept of vengeance.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Longcap
Okay.
is biologically incapable of understanding the emotional reasoning behind vengeance.
Makes sense.
Whereas Bog has let it fester in them for who knows how long. And for Cog, it is... program is technically the wrong word, but it's the most fitting word. It is programmed into their being as a clock forge. What's the term I gave? I didn't give them. I'm using a stat block or something.
Clockforge. I think you said Clockforge.
Gearforge. They're
Gearforge, that's
Gearforge Templar. And Gearforge Templars are created for a specific purpose. And they go towards that purpose with single-mindedness. So you are actually probably going to be better equipped to change Bog's mind than Cog's mind.
Oh, okay.
Without necromancy, anyway.
We all stare at Longcap.
Longcap did almost ask Bog if Bog wanted... not Bog. Did almost ask Cog if Cog wanted aftermarket editions from the Dead Dragon.
All right. And speaking of books...
Yeah, okay. So my website is bookofgen.net. It does have book reviews on it. I'm slowly putting them up there. There's a bunch of Diablo stuff regarding the games and other stuff that I write. I'm working on some long form things that'll appear eventually. So it's at bookofgen.net. I'm also the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, and that comes out every Saturday. It's about not only the companies that make the games, but what's going on in the games and things like that. So yeah, you can find that at shatteredsoulstone.com. Oh, and my favorite part of this was literally when Otashi said, "Oh, I have a sending stone," and just went from there.
Scratch something off of my list of favorite things that I don't get to plug because...
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I let everyone know before the session started that was going to be one of my favorite things, so I'm not shocked at all. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
I have a list. I have
Okay.
one.
Cool.
All right. Who else has a favorite thing? Ellie?
I was going to say the sending thing.
Oh.
Who has
Surely that was
the
the most
sending
popular thing.
But specifically having to use sending twice because Utashi forgot what they were saying.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
She is from Mipo's clan. They're all kind of like this. You know?
I even gave you the option of a wisdom check just to be able to not burn 2 spell slots on it.
Right. And
the roll was glorious.
Yeah.
All right, how about Io?
I think that was my favorite moment also.
And you were there for the favorite thing, and you were there for the favorite thing, and
Yeah.
you were there.
Well, and speaking of social media,
Well, that would be if Millie or Milo was here.
oh,
But yes.
Right.
But speaking of Patreons, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming help us keep the lights on along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Shen, Walter, and patron emeritus Cindy. And my favorite thing that was not already mentioned was Tiniest Cap
Snowball!
doing charades
Yeah.
and then getting interrupted to just say, "Uppies, go that way."
That was pretty funny.
Yes.
All right, and until next time, this is Crash saying, "Thigh bones connect to the hip bones connected to the vertebrae, vertebrae connected to the vertebrae,
Everything.
vertebrae connected to the vertebrae." This is going to go on for a while. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.